We're live.
Good morning.
Good night from Dubai. See you, Dion.
Good night from Dubai. Hey, listen, thanks very much for coming on. I've got Rohit Bassi here. He's a really good mate of mine. He's known as Mr. Compassion, super smart guy. He's in Dubai, plenty of time in the UK. We all met together in Singapore. We all speak and train together, and we've got the same mission in the world, is to empower people. And I just want to clarify what that word means, Rohit, because I'll be honest with you, brother, and I'm sharing this with my PNG Facebook page first and then the rest of my pages. That term empowerment really annoys me because there's so many people jumping on the online bandwagon at the moment that have never been here before, right? And it's all about just throwing information at people. And just throwing information at people doesn't empower someone. To empower someone is you take something that you have power in and you give it to them, so that then they have the power to then go and use said power. Be that through training and speaking, whatever it is. You must give someone something that they can take. You give your power to someone else.
Let's look at it very, very practically what's going on. No one knows what the hell is going on. You're an ex-army person. You know this is a situation of what they call is VUCA, volatile, uncertainty. It's complex and it's ambiguous. Okay. At the same time, in this environment, I mean, and this is what I've experienced is, I had some really good clients on my book, and literally all my business is wiped out. All my business is wiped out. And I've gone back to the clients. I said, okay, let's look at virtual online training, what we can do on that line. And they said, look, we would love to do it. Here's the thing. We need to sustain ourselves operationally. We don't know how long this is going to go on. We would love to take your services. At the moment, we will not be investing in that side because we need to just get the company moving for the moment. We need to get the basic salary payment. We need to make the basic business running. There are going to be redundancies happening. There are going to be people who are going to be pulled back. You know, salaries are going to be reduced. How do we tell these people that we're doing training when we can't even pay you?
100%. And sorry to interrupt there, because that is the clash point right now that you and I understand, because, you know, we're both human strategists. We always look at what is the human element of what we're dealing with. And primarily people are driven by emotion. We know that. And the emotional blanket that you wrap around people first, for you, is compassion. And for me, it's confidence. So if someone is scared, this picture here of Rohit and myself shows two different flavors or two different vibrations of energy for that. Nice and calm and humble, compassionate, articulate, intelligent gentleman like Rohit, or a big bold guy like myself that wants to be out the front, quite happy to go head to head with fear and do that way. And these choices have to be there. And that's what I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing a lot of choice. This overload of information is not actually creating a menu. It's just creating a mess. So this is what we're trying to do in PNG, is because for the people that are sitting in PNG watching this right now, we've got all those VUCA elements that we spoke about. But at the emotional level, I'm just concentrating on the people. And the people at the moment, they're scared. And they're scared of three main things. Firstly, they're scared of not knowing what is going on. This total lack of control and what's happening, what's going to happen next. And the fact that your life is now being controlled. Now, good, bad, or indifferent, you have a lack of control. The second one is, and this is really sad, but people are more scared about losing their jobs and losing their incomes, which is fear, than they are of dying. Because this particular COVID one, to put this in context, my mother is immune compromised through cancer and lots of other things. So if she gets COVID, she is at a high risk of dying, right? And so for people in that bracket, that's a healthy fear of getting sick and dying. But for those that aren't in that bracket, like, you know, I'm 46, I'm fit and strong. If I get COVID right now, it's not going to kill me, right? Unless there's really bad complications. So I'm fine with the physical threat of it. The threat to my family of not being able to actually physically go and speak affects my income. So that is a fear, again, healthy. And so I think it's really important to keep these brackets in place. But the clash now is operational costs, looking after my people. And so in survival with our backgrounds, it's only math. So we have two things that we're dealing with there. If there's a desire for companies to help their people in this situation, but it costs money and activates the fear of not being able to operational, then my survival brain goes, remove the cost.
Yeah.
And so what we're trying to do right now, primarily here on Facebook and on social media, is to give the exact same value that we would charge it. And Rohit and I are both 5-figure speakers and trainers. We get paid a lot because we're good at what we do. We know a lot. So we're going to give the same amount of value to those companies to say, hey, listen, here's how you manage emotion. Here's how you show compassion. Here's how you look at those online opportunities. Here's some training packages that I have that are free. So I see this as a huge opportunity to establish credibility.
So here's one of the things which I've been doing over the years, and recently I ramped it up this year. I put and this is the first time I'm voicing it out, and a lot of people are going to listen to this. My aim was, I decided at the beginning of the year, just around Christmas, that my attempt would be every day create one video that could help someone out. Okay. I don't have the hits and the views, but I know they do help people out, because I've seen some people say, I need some help. I send them this video.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube. It's free of charge, easily accessible. So if you look at from January 1st till now, I think, how many days? 89 days or 87 days? I created every day one video, 87 videos all up there.
Wow.
And all of them are empowerment. Empowerment in how you communicate, empowerment in how you are actually doing your sales, empowerment in how you actually lead, empowerment in how you manage your emotions. And in the past 2 weeks, I've been creating more on this uncertainty. So I've been looking at different things. Okay, what has helped me in the past, which is now helping me again, because it's kind of in my system that let me talk about these things. And this is what I'm doing. So for example, today, as we're over here, I did a book. I did this. This is called Embracing Uncertainty.
Yep.
Yeah, Susan Jeffers. Look at what it says at the bottom. It says, achieving peace of mind as we face the unknown.
There we go. Dealing with that fear of the unknown, that fear of lack of control. Yeah, excellent.
We are now in a very unknown situation. As humans, we like certainty, but there is no life certainty at the simple as that. And this is I did a small video on this, and I'll just read out what I did. All I did was a simple thing. You can go and buy the book online, or you can go and read the synopsis, but this is the simple synopsis of the book. It talks about 3 realities. The first reality is the only certainty is that life is uncertain.
Yep.
That's the first reality. The only certainty is that life is uncertain. Okay. Yeah. Life is very uncertain. Reality 2. Once you surrender to the fact that you are unable to control the uncertainty, you will at last be able to breathe a sigh of relief. So let me repeat again. Once you surrender to the fact that you're unable to control the uncertainty, you will at last be able to breathe a sigh of relief. Because we know everything's uncertain. And third reality, a deep acceptance that life is uncertain opens the door to a powerful way of living. So let me repeat that again. A deep acceptance that life is uncertain opens the door to a powerful way of living. Just 3 simple uncertainties, realities it's telling us, which we need to realize in this uncertain time.
This is such perfect timing, Rohit, because I'm looking at the screen and I'm seeing you on this side and me on this side. And I'm hearing this peaceful, look, when you understand that life is uncertain, you've got no control, you just breathe a sigh of relief and you carry on, all right? And that is such your personality. And it is not mine. I'm like, what? You know what? I'm trained that if there's no controllables, find one. If there's chaos, bring order. If things are turning to crap, let's lock it down. And with all the military training, we have knowns and unknowns. We don't plan or execute anything unless it's a known. So right now, if we bring it into context, we don't know what's going to happen next week. Are we going to be isolated or not? So what I know is I'm isolated today.
Absolutely.
and I know what that is. So I'm going to focus on that. Now, at the other end, I'm either going to be isolated or not isolated. So I'm going to have a plan for if I am, and I'm going to have a plan for if I'm not. So for anyone watching this is the menu that we're wanting to create. If you are on Rohit's side and just like, you know what, none of this is under control, very Buddhist mindset, right? And I'm not picking a religion here. I'm saying a mindset of nothing's under control. I'm going to be my best self in every situation, and I'm just going to flow.
Yeah. and even if you look at it, you know, from that perspective, is even if you look at the island life, the original people, they were in that sentiment of as well. You got to be in the flow. Unfortunately, I'm not saying that not to plan, not to strategize, but even in that planning and in that strategizing, there will be uncertainty over there as well.
Yes, and we've let now. So when you were talking, that's an emotion, because we talked about a sigh of relief. All right, so that's removing pressure. So that's an emotion. And then I've flicked straight into logic. You know, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, which is a military mindset. And that's the difference in military training, where we remove emotion. Fear is fuel. And the only emotion we have is controlled aggression. And pain is also fuel. And we make logical, survival, mathematical decisions. And that's the balance between this emotional and this logical side. And it's going to be a constant conflict. There'll be a media release. In New Zealand, no one has died of COVID-19. But every day there's a graph that goes like this of people who've got it. So every time there's a media release, we go, we come into heart and we go fear. And then we have a very emotional prime minister who comes in and shows empathy and compassion that deals with the emotion. So we're doing this whole emotion thing in New Zealand at the moment. And those of us that are logical in crisis, where we remove that, we acknowledge the emotion, we need to transmit it, we hold it, and then we make a logical survival decision. And now looking at some of these emotional situations and going, well, hang on a second, that's not adding up. And it won't add up because logic and emotion, they clash in the middle of crisis. You have to pick one or the other to take the lead. And I also have to apologize because, and I'll let you come back to it because I know you got an answer to it. And I had to apologize to my wife. And when I got on this call, I'm telling the truth now, Rohit looks at me and goes, you look younger. And I said, I'm loving this crisis situation. He's like, what? I said, this is familiar ground for me. You know, there's fear everywhere, there's uncertainty, there's conspiracy theory, there's all this energy going on. I love it because this is my environment. But my wife comes back the first time, you know, there was an announcement and people were panic buying. And so she went out there just to grab our normal shopping. We didn't panic buy.
Let me interrupt. Was there a lot of bog rolls buying as well?
The toilet Not in New Zealand, no. In Australia there was, but it was in New Zealand. Funny enough, when I was involved in a flood crisis situation in Australia, the baking aisle stayed full, and I figured out, oh, these guys don't know how to bake. In New Zealand, the baking aisles are emptier than the toilet roll. So in New Zealand, we know how to bake. But coming back there, no, our toilet paper is fine. But anyway, my wife came back, and my wife's a tough lady, mate. Now, you know me, you know Tan. She's tough, mate. There's not much that rattles that lady. But she came back and she says, babe, I'm like, yep. Would you stop laughing about this? I'm like, what? She goes, would you stop? Can you know, there's people out there that are really scared. And I said, what's going on? And she said to me, it feels different out there. Now, she's a postal worker. She's out there today in the rain and the cold, delivering mail and doing courier driving because it's still an essential service. So she's feeling what's out there. And she's saying, I know you're trained for this and you're really enjoying yourself, but be careful not to devalue the fear that's out there. All right? And that's a valid point. But by the same token, to balance that, our police forces out there, our emergency services, our doctors and our nurses that are out there, we all share one coping mechanism in that environment. That is black humor. We use so much humor to cope with body parts, death, bombs, blood, and all the rest of it. So I think another lesson from this conversation is just be aware where you sit. I sit in enjoying crisis because I know I've got the skills to get in there and help. It's very familiar. However, for someone that's sitting in the fear of it, to see me out there going, yeah, no, we're going to be fine, we're going to do this, we're going to be doing that, you can become very unfeeling or cold-hearted on the perception side. That's a very valuable lesson. But yeah, I'll let you come back to commenting on that other clash between the emotions and the logic.
So for me, there's a, I mean, I do feel logic is crucial. And at the same time, if the emotions are not going to you're not going to take care of the emotions, the logics will lose. Simple as that. Because the emotions can really overpower the logic. So 100%. We need to take care of those emotions, keep them at bay. I'm not saying to repress them because that never works in the long term. It's a big problem. Now, I mean, last year, I got back into what is called Ho'oponopono. So this is from the Hawaiian Islands. I think it might be in the Polynesian Islands as well. And one thing I learned from that is you cannot mess around with the flow of nature. Okay? Cards are being dealt. We have to, the reality is this is existing. Some people are going towards the conspiracy theory. Some people are saying, no, it's for real. And then there's like people who are saying, actually, we don't know what the reality is. We're just going to see how it goes day by day. And so one of the things which I learned through Ho'oponopono for me personally is find gratitude in whatever's going on. You know, today, whoever's in your family is healthy, alive, be grateful for that. Be grateful for that. You still have a roof over your head. Be grateful for whatever's possible. Every small little thing. It's not talking about the big things. We're talking about just the small, minute things. And you can go through any kind of religion and they will talk about gratitude being such a strong point, which allows you to open the door and, you know, release that emotion, that fearful emotion, let it go, and then let the logic find whatever needs to be done. Yeah. So
100%.
So one of the things which I also did, I did another video. I mean, it's fortunate you're just sitting here, and this was the day before on man's search for meaning.
Great book.
Yeah, and it's interesting. There's one particular quote which summons it up. It's finding meaning in your suffering.
Correct.
And making a choice. Where do you want to focus your energy? You know, it talks about in that talk saying that in a simple words that all freedom can be taken away from you, but what you do inside yourself, that is very tough to be taken away from you. And you need to make a decision. Which direction are you going to go towards? The fear direction, or are you going to go uplift yourself and energize yourself and go towards the love direction?
Which is the perfect segue into our next video. And so what Rohit and I are doing, we're just having this chat now, just for my PNG group, to let you know you're not alone and share what's going on over there in Dubai and what Rohit and I are thinking. But the next couple of videos that we're doing is we're going to deal with the mental health side of things, because everything's physical at the moment. No one's focusing on the mental health side, and there's really clear lanes in that. Both myself and Rohit have written books on the matter, and we speak about mental health specifically. We've both been through our own mental health issues. So we're speaking from experience, and we've got clinical endorsements and support there from other people. So thank you very much for this chat, Rohit. The very next video we're going to do is on managing the emotion, primarily of fear. And again, you're going to get a couple of different perspectives here. How I do it on the confidence side, how Rohit does it on the compassion side. And then that way you choose. If you resonate with how I do it, then help yourself. And we'll make sure we've got free stuff there. And if you resonate with how Rohit does it, because he looks better and actually sounds a lot more intelligent than I do. That's why I invite him. I'm borrowing intellectual credibility here, people. And then at least you're going to have a choice, and I'll invite some other people on and I'll share these videos and go, you know what? My people are probably sick of hearing from me at the moment. Have a listen to what Rohit's got to say about this, and we'll go from there.
Now, I mean, the thing is, you know what? Every single person on this earth has been affected by this. Yeah. No one is on their own. Again, to communicate a message, I created a video. So I created a video on gratitude. I created a video on these two books. There's a video which I created on which I call Smile, and it says smile, yes, smile, and they're like, why do I need to smile in the situation? Okay, so I've used it as an acronym. Firstly, the S standing for how can you serve and support yourself and others around you? Even the smallest action. We're not talking about massive action over here. People always talk about this massive action. Dump that. Okay, let's talk about the small actions you can take, small steps to help yourself and help someone else, serve and support. Okay, so that's the S. The M is you need to mesmerize yourself with what's happening around you, be in the present moment. Yeah. As a human race, we need to really think about it. Is are we respecting not just the human race, but all the energies, all of nature? Because from what we're seeing around us, we've not been doing that for, God knows, centuries. Yeah? So we need to be in that present and take care of that as well. You need to be in spirit. Okay, go back inside yourself and reflect. What is my real purpose over here? You know, what can I give? How I can help people out and how I can help myself. So that's your I. The L being is living. Okay, now we all, I mean, the way society is being formed across the globe, it's all about, reaching a goal, reaching an objective. Great. We get applause. We could get applauses and we could get accolades for that. But how about just living a life, just living a life of joy?
I like that.
Why does it need to be a goal? Why does it always have to be goal orientated? How about just living, being a human being? Human being, not human doing. Do, being. Like, so one of my relatives just got a rescue dog. And one of the things which we're observing about that dog is eats, goes out, does its things, comes back, looks at my relative and goes back to sleep. Not bothered about anything. So somehow he is still attuned with nature. But we've been conditioned from a very young age to do. Do good at school, do good at this, do good at that, get a house, get a mortgage, get da. It's all about do. When are we ever taught from a very young age, just be?
Very important.
Be. And finally, that's how you're living. And finally, the E in the smile is your energy. Where are you focusing your energy? See, look, I'm to blame as well, or I'm also guilty of the fact that I go towards the face. And I see what happens to me. And it happens, it's a tendency because from a young age, we've been shown or conditioned in such a way. How about when we're in that fearful situation and see, is it really helping us? Because when we're in a fearful situation, this is what's literally happening us. Our body's contracting. We are increasing the stress hormones. To put it very simple, that's what's happening. And therefore, what's happening? As the Buddhists say, we're suffering. Right? And you can go through any spirituality. That's what they'll talk about. You're suffering when you're in that fear emotion. And when you rise to that loving state, you start looking at the infinite possibilities. You start expanding. Now, wouldn't it be nice to be in that? And when we are down in that fearful situation, learn to get up. And that's why compassion becomes a big key for me personally. Is because when someone is down, let's say your loved one is feeling very down, a lot of times you wouldn't say to them, get up, you stupid person, get up and get out and do something. You would console them. You will slowly get them out and move them. That's showing them compassion. And it's step by step, bit by bit. And you see that they rise. But the moment you start beating them up, they feel more constrained and more suffered. So compassion becomes a great key to actually push you up into that loving state. So when you're in that loving state, the logic is easy to apply then. In a fearful state, logic is very tough to apply. So it's shifting. And the only way I think, for me personally, it's through this mode of compassion. And it's helped me through a lot of tough times. Even now with what's happening with business has been wiped out for me. And I'm like, what do I do? Where do I get the business? How do I? I'm like, calm down. Something will happen. It's just not you alone. Forget about you just being alone. Raise your vibration, raise your frequency, get up. And even if you look at from the island life, if you look at to the origins of how it worked was, okay, raise your vibration, be one with the nature, focus on how you can help the whole community. And if we could just, at this moment, think like that, I'm 100% sure we will pass through it.
I don't want to add to or take anything away from you just said, because that 5 minutes of hearing you talk as I know you talk, which is why I love you so much, my brother, is you're acknowledging the emotion of fear that people are in. You've been in that emotion before. When you made one set of decisions, you suffered, like I suffered when I went through that as well. But when you applied your own process, you expanded, you came out of it.
Yep.
And that complete process is what we're really trying to amplify here. We're all going to be in a state of fear because it's natural and it's healthy. If you're stuck in that fear and you don't know a way out, our role is to share our different processes that you can try and apply to find the one that resonates with you. Compassion, I agree, is fantastic. But I would just like to finish this particular talk on the person you need to be the most compassionate with, the person that you need to be looking after the most, the person that you need to make sure is feeling the most amount of love in the situation is in the mirror. It is yourself. Please be super kind to yourself. Thank you very much, Rohit, for coming on this call. We're going to share the other videos that we're doing. I love you, my brother. You keep safe with your family, and I will talk to you soon.
Same here. Thank you so much.
Tasted my stuff.